1240.
The most Oscars yesterday went to the best film of all time. No, I'm not talking about The Revenant, not even talking about Star Wars. Nope. Mad Max was the best film of all time, or at least the best film of 2015, and it deserved every single Oscar it got. It should have gotten the Oscar for best cinematography. It should have gotten the Oscar for best director. George Miller should have totally gotten that. Revenant was a cool movie, but Mad Max was far superior, especially technically. Mad Max was a far superior film. If you disagree with me, you're wrong. But if you disagree with me, I can't talk today. If you disagree with me anyway, you can listen. You can call in 423-800-8949, 423-800-8949. Except you're wrong, because Mad Max was definitely the best film of 2015. There's no denying it. It got 6 Oscars, which just proves the opinion that Mad Max is the best film of 2015. Hands down, no debate. It's the best. And it was a really, really good movie to watch in theaters, too. I saw it 3 times, once in not 3D and twice in 3D, because it was definitely worth it every single time. And now I own it on Blu-ray, too, because it's the best movie of all time. So we're going to talk about apps today, because that's what we always talk about, right, is apps. Apps are integral to society. We need them. We can't live without them. If we have our phones taken away, we wither away and die very quickly, actually. It's a slow, agonizing, painful process. And I compiled actually a list of all these different social media apps and all the different utility apps, messaging apps, entertainment apps, shopping apps, news apps, and games that I use. And I've put together a whole big list of them so that I can share it with you. Now, granted, I'm not always 100% of the time using this app or that app 100% of the time, because I uninstall and reinstall a lot of apps. And I'm actually planning on getting a new phone that has a higher capacity so that I can uninstall and reinstall more apps, actually, because I need to do that. So right now, I've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope on my phone. I have Skype, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Zello, and Snapchat on my phone. I have Netflix, Amazon Instant Video, Amazon Music, Bandcamp, Google Play Music, and Podcast Addict on my phone. And I have CCleaner, Evernote, Out of Milk, 50 Police Scanner, Feedly, the Google app, Google Translate, Bloom Sky, Podcast Addict again, Plague Incorporated, and Dots, all on my phone. Now, that's a pretty good loadout. That's a pretty decent loadout. And if it sounded like I was rattling off a list of nonsense to you, that's okay, because that's why I'm here. A lot of the times, people don't really get what smartphones are for. They look at them and see them as just telephones, and they're not just telephones anymore. The telephone feature of a cell phone, of a smartphone, is almost secondary. In fact, it pretty much is secondary to its function. The cell phone and calling part of the smartphone is basically secondary to its nature. You don't need that. Basically, you could take that part out and still have a really good device. Instead, what you're carrying around is a computer on your hip, essentially. When you have it in your pocket, you have a very high-powered, considering, computer strapped to yourself. You are carrying it around with you, and it's powered by a little lithium-ion battery, and you can do pretty much anything you want with it in terms of research. You can do pretty much anything you want with it in terms of communications. You can do pretty much anything you want with it, period. You can take great pictures with a lot of them. You can make really good audio recordings with some of them. And they're all just really good for a lot of different purposes. They're good for entertainment, too, for watching movies. They're great for listening to music. The MP3 player, like the standalone MP3 player, purchases of those have gone down very rapidly. Now it's just the smartphone. That's what people listen to music on nowadays, is the smartphone. Some of us have sound systems at our houses. I have one. I built a very decent sound system myself. My little hi-fi system I built myself, but not everyone does that. Most people listen to their music on their phone. And here's a tip. The speaker on your phone, I guarantee you, is bad. It's probably really bad, because the speaker on basically everyone's phone is really bad. The iPhone 6 Plus has a nice sounding speaker, but it's definitely not as good as it could be. That's just the physical constraints of it being that small. It's hard to have a good sounding speaker that's that size from any manufacturer. It's really hard, especially when you're cranking it up to that loudness. Earbuds can sound really good because they're actually not putting out a whole lot of audio. the volume, the gain is really low on earbuds. That's why they can sound okay, but a speaker of the same size in your phone sounds awful. Because if you cranked your headphones all the way up, it would sound really bad. It'd be distorted. And that's what happens with your cell phone. So if you're listening to music or you're watching a movie, plug some headphones in. It's worth it to spend the money on on some headphones for your phone. That's why iPhones come with the Apple earbuds. That's why some Android phones have headphones that come with them. It's a good investment to get yourself a good pair of headphones. There are a lot of really good headphones out there. I would stay away from dollar store cheesy crap headphones like gum. Those aren't particularly great. Sennheiser makes really good earbuds that are not too terribly expensive. You can always go the Apple route if you want to. There's a lot of different headphone manufacturers out there, but we're not here to talk about headphones. We're talking about phones, not headphones, but phones. So there are a lot of messaging apps out there actually for the smartphone, and Facebook Messenger is quickly replacing a lot of them. For instance, Skype and Uvu were for a time the voice messaging and video messaging services for your smartphone. Some people used Uvu, some people used Skype. Skype had the business going after it. Skype was owned by Microsoft, still is. Skype is owned by Microsoft, and it had a lot of business backing. And that being the case, it had a lot more support behind it. It's kind of like Betamax and VHS, where Uvu was kind of the Betamax, where it might be technically better, but it doesn't have the corporate backing like Skype or VHS does. So Skype won out in the end, and Uvu is not really used by a whole lot of people. It is, but it's not. Good luck getting a business person to install it over Skype. It's not going to happen because all of his business partners are using Skype. So yeah. Use it if you want to, but Skype is, while not technically superior, it is socially superior, unfortunately. So take from that what you will. But something that's interesting is Facebook Messenger is actually taking over a lot of that ground. Facebook Messenger is really good for a lot of stuff. If you're on Facebook already, maybe you're using your computer for it, right? You're just using your laptop or your desktop computer to access Facebook, and that's fine, but you get a lot more functionality when you use your phone. For instance, have you ever wanted to post a photo onto Facebook? I know a lot of older people who have this problem where they want to post a picture onto Facebook, but they took the picture on a separate digital camera. Right? I mean, a lot of people have digital cameras or had digital cameras, but nowadays the quality of smartphone cameras is about the same as the quality of consumer grade old school digital cameras from the mid 2000s. So in fact, most smartphones are better than that quality nowadays anyway. So you're better off just taking the photo with your smartphone if you have one. And chances are you're going to pay about the same amount for your smartphone as you would for a digital camera nowadays. So there's really not any reason not to get a smartphone. There's really not. But the benefit of having Facebook Messenger or the Facebook app on your phone is when you take a picture and you post it onto Facebook, it comes straight from your phone. You don't have to worry about getting it on your camera and then asking your nephew to put it on your computer so you can post it. You can do it straight from the Facebook Messenger app, from the Facebook app. It looks great. There's really no issue with it. Now, Facebook does have some compression. It makes the photo quality a little bit less. It's not a big deal. You'd only notice it if you're really into visual quality, I suppose. But yeah, no, it's great. The Facebook Messenger and the Facebook app are actually really nice for the smartphone market. In fact, Facebook, it tends to be the number one app. Just on average tends to be number one. There have been some surprises where Facebook was knocked out of the ring by, say, Google or by Beats at one point. There was that other music app that knocked Facebook out of the number one position. But Facebook, generally speaking, is the number one app on most platforms. Everyone seems to have Facebook on their phone, and I can see why. Honestly, Facebook is a great social network. There's a reason why Facebook is successful. It's kind of addicting. It's good for communicating with people. It's really annoying at the same time, but when it comes to communicating with my friends, especially friends who are far away, you really can't beat it. It beats texting for me because I can send images really quickly. I can send little video files. I can send links. It all works within the web browser. It's great. So Facebook Messenger and the Facebook app are all very good. But the benefit you get from Facebook Messenger is you can actually do video calls through Facebook Messenger a lot like FaceTime. And I'm betting that Facebook got some inspiration from FaceTime. If you're on an iPhone, you can use FaceTime to communicate with other people who have iPhones. But if you have an Android phone, like 50% of the smartphone market does, then you're going to want to use Facebook Messenger because it's actually really good in terms of visual quality. It looks great. It sounds really good. It's almost as good as a phone call. And if you have friends who are overseas who have internet connection, you don't have to pay anything extra for cell phone fees to call them. So the Facebook Messenger app is really good for that. Another app that a lot of people still use for communication is WhatsApp, which is fine. It's good. It's decent. It has pretty good security. It's overall pretty good. WhatsApp is a great messaging app. If you happen to know somebody who has it and you want to talk to them, well, WhatsApp is fine for that. Another one that's really popular with actually parents communicating with their kids is an app called Zello, Zello, Zello. And it's really popular with parents trying to get with their kids. See, the thing is, or trying to get in conversation with their kids, I should say. The thing with Zello is it's kind of replacing the walkie-talkie because nowadays most people, I say most because it tends to be the case, most people have a data plan on their cell phone. So let's say you've got a cell phone and you're paying for data, and let's say you're paying for a gigabyte for the whole family. Well, Zello doesn't really take up that much memory at all when you're using it. So that being the case, you can actually use Zello just fine, and it'll act just like a walkie-talkie, and you can communicate with whoever you're trying to communicate with without having to worry about them being out of bounds. I can use Zello I do this at work all the time, with my boss who does not really live that close to here. Certainly he lives outside the range of walkie-talkies, and yet we can use Zello to communicate with no problem whatsoever. In fact, you can use Zello to communicate with somebody who's on a computer. You can use it for communications that way too. It's overall a really good app. So Zello for communications, it's got a push to talk sort of thing going on. So when you push the button and you're chatting with someone else, then it's sort of like you're in a phone call, but it's more like a walkie-talkie. I would compare it more to a walkie-talkie. You ever thought about how weird the name walkie-talkie is, by the way? Who the heck came up with walkie-talkie? Really? I mean, come on. But anyway, Snapchat is another app that has a lot of controversy behind it, actually. But a lot of people use it. I think it's great. There's no problem for me with Snapchat. But Snapchat has a lot of controversy, mostly because teenagers tend to use it. Adults will use it too, but teenagers tend to use Snapchat a lot. Snapchat's more popular with younger people. What Snapchat does is it sends destructible messages or self-destructing messages. So what happens when you send a message over Snapchat is the recipient gets it, okay, and they can view it for up to 10 seconds. And at the end of that 10-second time period, it self-destructs. They can't view it again. Okay, simple as that. The issue with that, though, is younger people, I guess, there's been a problem with younger people sending risque photos over Snapchat, we'll say. And it's been a cause for concern for a lot of parents, understandably. And the issue is not with Snapchat. The issue is with two things: proper parenting and just teaching kids not to send, nude photos over Snapchat, because A, that's illegal, and B, it's just bad practice. Because actually, this is not a joke. Actually, if you get caught, even if you yourself are underage, if you get caught with nude photos of someone who is also underage, you can actually be put on the sex offender registry and charged as a sex offender. So it's a scary thing. And I know a lot of kids do it, but it's also really illegal. Now, you can make arguments about victimless crimes and yada, yada, but still, it's also very illegal. And whether or not your philosophy aligns with that, it's also, again, really illegal and can get you in a lot of trouble. So it's just not worth it. That's my words of wisdom to kids, I guess, is don't do it. It's not worth your time. Fortunately, when I was young, this was not a thing. Snapchat was not a thing when I was 15. So we didn't have that problem when I was a kid. But nowadays, a lot of younger generations, a lot of kids these days are having, Snapchat. They're using it for communications. A lot of it's just fun, good, cool stuff that kids are using Snapchat for. And I would say a majority of Snapchat usage is just regular teenage talk, and that's fine. That's cool. We are all fine with that. And some of the bad stuff leaks through. So Snapchat's a really good app for communications. Again, there's not really any problem with Snapchat in and of itself. It doesn't cater itself to sending nude photos. There's a backstory behind it, but in and of itself, Snapchat does not cater itself to doing that. So it is what it is. So Snapchat's a fine app. It's a really good app for fun little video picture messages. By the way, that's what they are. They're pictures and videos when you send them over Snapchat. You can also add snaps to your Facebook or your Snapchat story. So when you add a snap, it's hard. When you add a snap to your story, what it does is it goes into sort of a repository where people can view it as many times as they want to for a 24-hour period. So it's pretty cool. Again, Snapchat's a good app. I think it's really great. If you have any more apps to recommend, by the way, the call-in line is 423-800-8949. That's 423-800-8949 is the call-in line. That's 423-800-8949 is the call-in number for us here at Hot News Talk Radio. This is Binary. The time is 11:21, 5 minutes until 11:30, or rather 5 minutes until 11:25. Really excited about getting on with the day. I guess it's a leap day. It's a fun day. It's a nice day outside. It's not going to be nice out for long, though, unfortunately. Tomorrow, we are expecting rain and thunder showers, actually, expected on Tuesday, but those are going to taper off by Wednesday and then pick up again on Thursday. That's your weather forecast from us here at the Weather Center, I guess. Entertainment. That's the other category I want to cover. Entertainment. Now, entertainment is something that maybe you don't think of your phone as being useful for, perhaps, because your phone, most people think of their phones, I think, as business computers. You know, they think of their phones as business machines. I use my phone for business. But you can use your phone for a lot more than just business. It's useful for a lot, actually, because you can use your phone for, say, watching Netflix, Amazon Instant Video, Amazon Music, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Hulu, Google Play Music, Podcast Addict. You can use your phone for a lot of stuff. And one thing, of course, is Netflix. And Netflix is really great for wasting time, for watching informative documentaries, for watching a TV show that you missed back in the 80s or 90s or 2000s. Say you want to watch all of the X-Files. You can do that actually on Netflix. I've been doing that for a little while now. There are a lot of Netflix exclusives. There's Happy Valley, which I've been watching recently. It's about a British female cop in Yorkshire who's trying to combat the inflow of heroin to her little town. Very interesting show. There's Beasts of No Nation, which was kind of snubbed for Oscar nomination, honestly. Beasts of No Nation, I think, really did deserve some sort of nomination for something. It was a really good movie. Even if it didn't win, I would be fine with that, but I think a nomination would have been deserving. And I'm not even, I'm not jumping in on the bandwagon of Oscars so white and yada, yada. I'm not really into that. But honestly, I really do think that Beasts of No Nation did deserve some sort of nomination. It was a really, really good movie, and it was very hard-hitting in its message. It's about child soldiers in West Africa, which I know sounds like Oscar bait, but honestly, it was a really good movie, and I generally really hate Oscar bait movies. So I think Beasts of No Nation was a very good movie. I thought The Revenant was a really good movie, too. But Mad Max was the best film of all time. There's no disputing it. Mad Max Best Film 2015, 6 Oscars, can't beat it. The unbeatable, the undeniable Mad Max. Netflix, anyway, for your smartphone, all you have to do is pay I think it's a $7 subscription. Somebody you know probably has a subscription you can leech off of anyway. If you have Amazon Prime, then you can get Amazon Instant Video, which I've been using to watch actually kind of a lot. It's funny what I've been watching, actually. I've been watching, it's a little bit embarrassing, Batman the Animated Series I've been watching on Amazon Instant Video. Why, you might ask? Well, because I grew up with it, and it's a great show. So there you go. Batman the Animated Series I've been watching on Amazon Instant Video. You can get it on your smartphone. The Sopranos is also on Amazon Instant Video. I've been watching the heck out of that. Great show. I have 2 soundtracks for it. It's really good. Amazon Music is sort of the combatant to a lot of music streaming sites, and a lot of people don't know about it, but Amazon Music is actually kind of okay. If you sign in with your Amazon Prime account, then you can use Amazon Music to listen to a lot of streaming music. There's a huge library available for Amazon Music, and you can get a lot of it available on Prime for both download and streaming. So Amazon Prime Music is something to look at if you're looking for a music streaming service and you don't want to pay anything extra. If you already have an Amazon Prime account, look at Amazon Music. Maybe that can help you out. Bandcamp. If you're into finding and discovering new artists, I think Bandcamp is the best app for that. Not even joking. Bandcamp is where I found a lot of really good bands. One of my favorite sort of indie surf punk bands is called Shy Mirrors. Check out Shy Mirrors at some point if you want to. I'm not being paid by them to say check them out, but seriously, Sailed Blanks is one of my favorite albums. It's basically my youth, the album. It's a good summertime album, but yeah, Bandcamp, Shy Mirrors is on there. But Bandcamp has a lot of really good bands, lots of different genres, and a lot of the music is actually free. So you can search for a genre you like say vaporwave or future funk or whatever, or all sorts of interesting genres are out there. Trust me, it goes far beyond just rock and blues. There's a lot out there, but and disco. There's a lot on Bandcamp, and there's a lot of indie artists who need your money, so it's worth checking out. Maybe throw some money towards some artists who could use it, because that's the best way to support them, is through Bandcamp, I think. SoundCloud is another one that's people sharing different music that they've made on SoundCloud. Very popular. We're going to talk more about apps here in just a few minutes on Hot News Talk Radio AM 1240, hotnewstalkradio.com as well.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd, right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
I'm going to Carter Shooting Supply.
Carter Shooting Supply.
That's right, Carter Shooting Supply. They're having a great sale on all of their guns right now, and it's name brands like Smith & Wesson, Ruger, Springfield, their AR-15s. They've got the hottest gun in the land right now, the Sky 9mm. Man, it comes in all the cool colors. If you're an Alabama fan, they've got crimson. If you're a big orange fan, they've got an orange one. All the women are loving the pink one and Tiffany blue. Plus, it has a lifetime warranty replacement. If the gun is stolen, all you need is your police report or receipt, and they'll replace it free. It has a 60-day full money-back guarantee. That's Carter Shooting Supply. They're in Harrison right there at 6210 Highway 58.
Are they online?
Yes, they are. That's cartershootingsupply.com, or give them a call, 423-344-1099. Now, this sale's not going to last too long, so you need to hurry up and get there. And they do have a great indoor shooting facility. You can get your Tennessee handgun carry permit also. That's Carter Shooting Supply, 423-344-1099.
Hi, I'm Sabrina with Sabrina Realty Associates. Now is a great time to sell your home. In our area, inventory is at an all-time low, which translates into higher sales prices. Call us today at 423-499-7780 to set up a free consultation and discuss our unique and aggressive marketing programs. We will provide you with a free market analysis to determine the right value of your home. Call us today at 423-499-7780 or visit our website at SabrinaRealty.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Little, candidate for criminal court judge with 25 years of criminal court experience, which makes me the most qualified candidate. The experience I have gained from handling over 4,000 cases in state and federal court has equipped me with the ability to be fair, impartial, and independent. As your next criminal court judge, I will focus on keeping Hamilton County safe. I view this position as a public service and will strive to improve the daily operation of the court. I humbly ask for your trust and vote in the March 1st Republican primary.
Paid for by the committee to elect Mike Little. Barry Abbott, Treasurer.
Sky Aerial Services uses advanced drone technology to give you a better perspective and depth of your property and project. We offer aerial photography and video for your business, farm, home, or advertising campaigns, as well as editing services to complete the experience. Call us at 423-521-0284 and see how we can help you tell your story about your business, property, or project. We work with real estate professionals, both commercial and residential, developers, engineer inspectors, surveyors, ad agencies, auto and boat dealers, mapping services, insurance inspectors, corporate marketing, charity events, weddings, and photographers. Our consultation is free. Call 423-521-0284. That's 423-521-0284, or visit our website, skyaerialservices.com. Sky Aerial Services. The sky is our limit.
Money, lots and lots of money. I want to buy On your signature, you can get $150,000. Can you believe that? $150,000 on your signature. Hi, I'm Bruce Krebs with the Entrepreneur Source. There's a program right now that you can get $150,000 on your signature with no pledge of collateral or personal guarantee. Call me at 423-875-5621 to learn more. 423-875-5621. You've been thinking about starting a business? Don't do it on your own. I have a proven track record for the last 13 years, a 96% success rate. I can guide you into a franchise where you will pay yourself through the startup phase with very low or little risk. Call me now. I'm Bruce Krebs at 423-875-5621. And make sure to listen to the Entrepreneur Hour every other Wednesday from 11 to 12 o'clock. Call me now, 875-5621.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. Eastside Elementary School in Whitfield County was evacuated after reports of smoke inside the building. The fire alarm did go off, according to the Whitfield County Sheriff's Office dispatch. The evacuation happened at 7:56 a.m. It was precautionary. On Sunday, a fire broke out on Walden's Ridge. The fire department responded and did manage to put out the fire, and that was after there was an initial fire in 1 acre where someone threw out wood stove ashes, which then ignited. It's not clear if the 5-acre fire is related to the 1-acre fire. A woman who had 2 children and her boyfriend inside of her car was pulled over. She was found to have an expired license, and she already had an outstanding warrant for her arrest. When police attempted to arrest her, she sped off in her car, crashing eventually into a business. She was then tased when she resisted and taken into custody, according to the police. She is charged with multiple counts of DUI, child neglect, violation of probation, among other charges. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Expect more sunshine and nice weather out there through the afternoon. Mild again, highs mid and upper 60s. Tonight, lows falling into the mid 40s with increasing clouds. Becoming breezy Tuesday. A line of showers and storms will roll in for the afternoon. Highs back into the 60s, drier and cooler for the midweek. For lunch or dinner, come to Guthrie's, home of the original golden fried delicious chicken finger with their special sauce. Open daily, locations in Trenton, Signal Mountain, and Ringgold. Go get Guthrie's. It's always good. And I'm Sourcine 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
When the weather turns bad, turn to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. On the net, hotnewstalkradio.com. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook from the Hot News Talk Radio Weather Center. Chattanooga, we've got you covered. When the weather turns bad, the Tennessee Valley turns to Hot News Talk Radio.
Go, 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 go. You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
There are so many apps out there that it gets to be hard to sort through them all. You know, which ones are the good ones, which ones are the bad ones. There are a lot of apps out there, and sometimes it's hard to tell which ones are the best because there's so many. You know, this one might look really good, but it's actually a scam. This one looks really good, but it's actually going to put malware on your phone. It's hard to tell because the world of smartphones, the world of apps especially, is kind of difficult to figure out. Well, fortunately, I'm here for you. And you can call me anytime you want, 423-800-8949. That's 423-800-8949 here at Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240, and hotnewstalkradio.com. By the way, just a by the by, you can listen to us on Hot News Talk Radio on the TuneIn Radio app for your smartphone. That's TuneIn Radio on your smartphone. You can download that and then search for Hot News Talk Radio. You'll be listening to us streaming live on your smartphone on the TuneIn Radio app. So definitely download the TuneIn Radio app for your smartphone. That's Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240, and hotnewstalkradio.com. as well. And that's one great way to listen to us. You can also go to the Hot News Talk Radio website, hotnewstalkradio.com. You can listen to us there. And you can actually go on YouTube, believe it or not. Go on YouTube and then search for Hot News Talk Radio, and you can see our YouTube channel. And we are streaming live on YouTube right now. You can see me in my average, everyday, casual attire here at Hot News Talk Radio, and you can see our cool banner behind us and people milling around in the office behind me, hotnewstalkradio.com, and go to YouTube and search for Hot News Talk Radio. You'll be able to see our live stream on YouTube there. So YouTube is really cool, by the way, on your smartphone. If you have the YouTube app on your smartphone, then you can watch YouTube, well, on your phone anytime you want. Really great. And you can also upload videos to YouTube straight from your phone. You can even edit them on your phone and then upload them to YouTube. So there's any number of ways to use YouTube to your advantage on your smartphone. YouTube is great on the smartphone. Unfortunately, you can't live stream yet. As far as I know, you can't live stream yet from your phone to YouTube. I don't think you can do that, which is one advantage that, say, Ustream and other services have over YouTube. But for now, YouTube is still really good on the iPhone. Twitter on iPhones is great, by the way, as a news source, or at least a half news source. You can use Twitter on your iPhone to see what's going on in the social media world by way of you can see what different people are saying about different things. Like, say, there's a protest going on in Chattanooga. You want to see what the attitude is about it, so you can go on the Twitter and search for Chattanooga, and then you can see what the attitude is about that particular protest. It was a great resource for when the Baltimore protests were happening, which then evolved into the Baltimore riots. And watching the streams, watching different photos people posted on YouTube was a great way to stay informed. On Twitter was a great way to stay informed. YouTube videos were absolutely essential during that time as well to, again, stay informed. So YouTube videos and Twitter feeds are quickly becoming a great way to stay informed about what's happening around the world. A lot of people are using Twitter as a news source, believe it or not. Most news organizations are on Twitter. In fact, we're on Twitter. You go to Twitter and search for Hot News Talk Radio, and you'll be able to see all of our tweets at, Hot News Talk Radio. So be sure to check that out. Instagram is great for business opportunities for restaurants, by the way. I don't really think Instagram is that great for a lot of other mediums, for a lot of other business types, because honestly, Instagram is very visual. And for, say, radio, what are we going to do with Instagram, really? But with, say, movies or commercial companies or even trucking companies, I can see how they would use that. But especially restaurants, shoot your special of the day, put that on Instagram. That's incredibly useful. There's a lot of social media advertising opportunities with Instagram, especially with restaurants. I think restaurants would benefit the most from it, and fashion outlets or retail outlets that sell clothing, that sort of thing. Instagram is great for that. But anyway, Periscope is another really good app. It's actually owned by Twitter, believe it or not. But with Periscope, what you can do is you can watch live streams that other people are doing at the current moment. So with Periscope, what you do is you start up a Periscope stream and you stream it out there, and you can actually stream it to other people anywhere in the world, essentially. And with that Periscope stream, then people can comment on it, and you can comment on other people's Periscope streams, and you can rate them, you can give them hearts and all sorts of things. There are a lot of local people who are on Periscope, by the way. You'd be surprised. I'm going to go ahead and start up a Periscope stream here real quick, and you can watch it on your smartphone. Hold on just a sec. Let me type in a title. I'll type in Hot News Talk Radio Live and start broadcast. And now here we go. We're broadcasting on Periscope. So with the Periscope app, you can see what other people are saying about your particular stream. You can see we're streaming here on our YouTube camera as well. I'm holding up the my smartphone to broadcast on Periscope. You can see our setup here if you're on Periscope watching. It's a pretty intense setup. We've got all sorts of stuff laying around. We got a board in front of us. We've got all sorts of cool stuff. So tune into the Periscope stream, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and ask that the guy who runs our normal Hot News Talk Radio Twitter account go ahead and retweet my tweet that I just did, that tweeted that I was Periscoping. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome. But anyway, lots of other apps to talk about. Periscope is just one of them. Periscope is, again, a great way to see what's going on around the world in terms of, again, protests. If there's any sort of civil unrest, using the Periscope app to watch those civil unrests can be very useful. If you remember when the San Bernardino tragedy happened, the terrorist attack in San Bernardino, watching Periscope streams was very useful, again, to see what the the attitude was towards what was happening, to see what people were saying about it. There was a hotel fire recently in Dubai, I believe, and someone was Periscope streaming from his balcony just across from that building, and we could see the fire as it was happening on Periscope. So it's a very good platform. Periscope is a great platform for staying informed and for just recreation, having fun too. So that's enough about social media. What about utilities? What can we use to make our phones useful? Well, Evernote's a really good app for just utility. Again, just for using our phones for taking notes, for little audio messages. You can actually take those with Evernote. Also with Evernote, you can, believe it or not, take photos, and it has what's called, I think it's called OCR or OSD. I can't remember which it is. I think it's, no, OSD is on-screen dictation. So OCR is something optical, something reader, and I can't remember what it is. But anyway, what it does is it actually reads text on it reads the text that's on a piece of paper and then converts it into editable, text files. So it's very useful. Evernote will actually do that for you. Another thing is Google Drive. Use Google Drive, and then you can actually upload all sorts of different files from your phone to your computer. And using using Google Drive, you can upload different files to Google Drive and then convert them over to your computer. So if you need files from work, say, on your phone real quickly, you can convert them over from Google Docs over to your phone and then access them that way. You can even play MP3 files from Google Docs without having to download them, which is incredibly useful. Google Drive can also be used for PDFs. So if you have a really large PDF file that you don't really want to put on your phone, you can put it on Google Drive and then read it from Google Drive to your phone without having to download a huge, PDF file that's 100 megabytes or so. So it's very useful for that too. Google Docs does much of the same thing, except you can edit those different files. So Google Docs, you can create a file and then edit it. And you can even do collaborative editing. Like right now, we have a huge list of different things here at the radio station. I don't really want to get into the technicalities of what it is, but we have different lists of different things here at the radio station that we have to maintain. And we actually do collaborative editing so that I can add stuff. David Tulis can add stuff. All the different people who work here can add stuff. It's very useful for that. So that's Google Docs. I get tired of writing up shopping lists because one of the things that I realize and I notice is oftentimes I'm just writing the same stuff down every week when I write my shopping lists. So I realized, why not just get an app for it? And believe it or not, there actually is an app for shopping lists. It's called Out of Milk. And with the Out of Milk app, what you can do is you can add different things to your regular list, and then you can re-add them anytime you want just by tapping on them. So that way, you don't have to rewrite everything all over again every time you want to get something. Like say, you buy milk every week, probably. Well, you're tired of writing down milk on your list every week because that would get annoying. So with the Out of Milk app, all you do is tap on the milk icon and it shows up in your shopping list easily. Out of Milk also has a list of pre-selected items that you can add to your shopping list easily, so you don't have to worry about writing out a bunch of stuff that's commonly purchased by a lot of people. Oh, something else that's really useful, by the way, is the 5.0 police scanner. The 5.0 police scanner is great for listening to the police. If there's ever a major incident happening, you can listen to the 5.0 police scanner, and you'll be able to find out what the police are doing in any given area. So I listen to the Chattanooga police scanner all the dang time because I need to stay informed about what the police are doing around here. Fire as well. So when I use the 5.0 police scanner on my phone, I'm able to hear what police movements are. I can hear where they're going. I can hear what they're responding to. And most of the time, it's routine stuff that, cops do. But sometimes it's something very interesting that I need to know about. So hearing the initial calls on the radio scanner or the police scanner can be really useful for finding out what exactly is going on, which makes news direction, that much easier. Feedly, by the way, Feedly, Feedly is a wonderful app for news. Now, the great thing about the Feedly app is you can log in from any computer. I'll show you right here. I'll go to my computer that's in front of me here, and I've never used Feedly on it. But what I can do is I can go to feedly.com, and I have an account with Feedly. So what I can do is once I've gone to feedly.com, I can actually log into my account and I'll have all my different news articles right in front of me. So all I got to do is log in here, continue with Feedly, type in my email. Okay, there's my email. And then I type in my password, which you should never know. Never tell anyone your password, by the way. If you're ever worried about security, never tell anyone your password. Don't use the same password for a bunch of different things. That's very important. And make sure that you use a different password from your phone to your computer, because you don't want to have the same password on your phone as the password on your computer. That's very important, because if your phone gets stolen, it's possible to find out what the password is on your phone. So that way, if someone ever gets access to your computer through your phone, they can't access it without the right password, which would not be the same one as the one on your phone. Very important. But now I have Feedly open on my machine here, and I can see all my different news sites. They're all compiled. Now, the fun thing about Feedly is you can do this on mobile too. It's a great app. But on desktop, you can do the same stuff. So what I've done is I have my business articles compiled into business. I have, or actually finance. And I have news articles compiled into news, a section called news. So I've got CNN, Fox, IBT, RT, WSJ, Yahoo, all these different news sites compiled into just one category. And I have local news, of course, in a separate tab. I have my tech news, where I've got Ars Technica, Extreme Tech, Gizmodo, TechCrunch, The Verge, Wired, and Yahoo Tech all in one tab. So what I can do is, instead of going to all these different news sites every day, I just click on news, and I get the most popular stories from all these different news sites. So, for instance, today, and I just watched it happen live, by the way, a Navy SEAL received the Medal of Honor at a White House ceremony. It was really cool. But now I know that there's an article about it, too. Lady Gaga at the Oscars brought the audience to tears, one of the most emotional moments of the Oscars, but it did not win an Oscar nonetheless. Her song won nothing. Instead, it was that Sam Smith song for 007. So go figure. But all that hard work gone down the drain. Can Ted Cruz win Super Tuesday? You know, all these different news stories. And it's really good to stay informed. I think the average American should be more informed than the average American tends to be. And certainly technology is helping on that front. Americans need to be informed. And really, everyone needs to be informed, right? Everyone needs to be informed. And the more informed people we have, the more intelligent people will have. You can increase your intelligence, so to speak, by being more informed. And that way you can make better informed decisions throughout your life and politically and otherwise about banking, say, or financial decisions. Maybe you don't get in the stock market right now, you know, these sorts of things. So being informed is extremely important. And fortunately, in the world of technology, there's almost no excuse to not be informed. And trust me, I know people who will go out of their way to not know things when it comes to politics. Like, they don't even want to know who's going to be president next. You know, they don't want to know. And that's entirely the wrong attitude to have. We should be very informed about what's happening, but also realize that perhaps the presidential election doesn't really matter that much in the grand scheme of things, but it's still good to stay informed about it because, you know, it's good for conversation and it's good for just being aware of what's happening in our everyday lives. So there's a sort of controlled apathy that goes on. That's a phrase I've coined, by the way, controlled apathy. But anyway, so Feedly is great for being informed and using your controlled apathy in the proper way. Another app that's really great that is only on iPhone, by the way, is called iHandy Level. And a friend of mine used this the other day when we were setting up a desk for him, actually. He had just bought this new desk and we had assembled it, we put it all together, and we wanted to make sure it was level. Well, him being a young college student, he doesn't have a line level laying around or a bubble level laying around. He doesn't have any of that stuff. But he does, of course, being a young college student, have a smartphone. So what he did was he used the iHandy Level app on his phone. He set his phone down on the desk, and guess what? It was level. And we put a marble on it to test it, and it actually was level, believe it or not. So the iHandy Level app actually does work. It uses the accelerometers and gyroscopes in your phone to make sure that it's oriented in the correct way. So it stays level, basically. So that's what it does. The Google app, by the way, if you're on iPhone, chances are you don't have the Google app, and you really need it. The Google app is useful for so many things, but Google integrates itself really well with the mobile experience. I think Google has knocked it out of the park with that, with a lot of stuff. I think mobile, in terms of just the mobile market, Google itself, maybe not the third parties on Android phones, but Google itself really knocks it out of the park with basically everything. The Google app itself is amazing. Google Translate blows everything out of the water. Seriously, Google Translate's amazing. Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Earth, Google Maps. Everything Google does, it seems, is like gold. I don't know how it does it. I don't know how the Google developers do it, but it seems like everything Google touches turns into gold, especially in terms of money. YouTube is making so much money now. It used to be this little startup independent company. Google came along and revolutionized it. And that was back when the idea of a tech startup was kind of new. So it's very interesting what happened. Google's been investing a lot of money in tech and buying up a lot of patents, which is also very important. But anyway, the Google app on your phone is important for a lot of things. But the fun thing about it is you get what's called the Google search bar at the top of your phone if you want to put it there. And what that does is you can tap on that little microphone in the upper right-hand corner, or you can just say, okay, Google. And when you do, it's trying to activate. And when you do, you can then search for things using your voice, or you can set timers on your phone too. You can set a timer for a certain amount of time. You can set an alarm on your smartphone. You can do all sorts of things. You can open up different apps. Like say I want to open up Facebook Messenger. I want to open up Netflix. I can do this. Open Netflix. And Netflix just launched. It didn't give an audio confirmation, but Netflix just launched. You can also, interestingly enough, you can also use it for asking for directions or how far something away is. Like say, okay, Google, where's the Hunter Museum?
Hunter Museum of American Art is at 10 Bluffview Avenue, Chattanooga.
Okay, Google, give me directions to the Hunter Museum.
Hunter Museum of American Art is 10 minutes from your location by car in light traffic. Here are your directions.
And there you go. Now I have directions to the Hunter Museum. All I have to do is tap on the little start button. It'll start up Google Maps, and I'll be on my way. So the Google app is great for a lot of stuff. It's good for, again, staying informed. Like say, okay, Google, how many Oscars did Mad Max win? And now I have a news article that just popped up about what happened at the Oscars. By the way, Ali G made an appearance at the Oscars, which I think was the funniest moment of the Oscars. By the way, I think Ali G was funnier than Chris Rock, and I think Chris Rock is normally really funny. By the way, I think Chris Rock's a funny guy, but I thought Ali G's appearance was just so extraordinary, just weird, that it made it funny. And his racial jokes I thought were really funny. They were in good taste. It was sort of riffing on the situation, and it was overall I thought Ali G was the funniest part of the Oscars. Chris Rock was funny, but I thought Ali G was the funniest part of the Oscars, just because his performance, him showing up as Ali G after all these years, was funny. It's just Sacha Baron Cohen, I think, is a comedic genius in a lot of ways. Not my favorite, that's Sam Hyde, but I think Sacha Baron Cohen is funny in a lot of ways. That's just extraordinarily just weird, and I really like him for it. You can use the Google app for a lot of things too, like NFL scores. Say, okay, Google, what's the Super Bowl score? And of course, the Super Bowl was a long time ago, but now I can see what the Super Bowl score is. You can use Google now for basically anything you would use your regular Google searches for, but you can use your voice for it. And Google is surprisingly really good at translating your voice into text. It recognizes voices with basically no problem. I've noticed that Google now sometimes performs better than Siri does in a lot of ways. So it's kind of surprising. There's nothing really wrong with Siri, but it surprises me sometimes how Google now will actually outperform Siri sometimes in just speed and reliability in terms of it recognizing what you're trying to say. Very interesting stuff. Colin Cowherd is coming up next here on Hot News Talk Radio. Then we got Sean Hannity and Clutcher Keon Rose, our local sports expert here on Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240, hotnewstalkradio.com. Get the TuneIn radio app for your smartphone. You can listen to us anywhere in the world on the TuneIn radio app. This is Hot News Talk Radio.
Nooganomics.com is a slap of fresh air, a 2x4 across the brain every morning. Read Nooganomics.com to find out what's happening in Chattanooga. Local-centric, Nooga-centric. Read it. The man who matters does. You should too. Nooganomics.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Little, candidate for criminal court judge with 25 years of criminal court experience, which makes me the most qualified candidate. The experience I have gained from handling over 4,000 cases in state and federal court has equipped me with the ability to be fair, impartial, and independent. As your next criminal court judge, I will focus on keeping Hamilton County safe. I view this position as a public service and will strive to improve the daily operation of the court. I humbly ask for your trust and vote in the March 1st Republican primary.
Paid for by the committee to elect Mike Little. Barry Abbott, Treasurer.
Severe Weather Awareness Week, the 28th through the 5th. P5 Preparedness has weather radios only $19.95. At P5 Preparedness, weather radios are only $19.95 for a limited time only and a limited quantity. You need to get there now. Weather radios, $19.95.
P5 Preparedness on East Brainerd between Gun Barrel and I-75. Look for the Green Army truck, 423-602-2175. Look for us on Facebook. Get $10 off a screen repair. Mention Hot News Talk Radio. If you have the DTs, the shakes, because your phone is on the fritz, you have nomophobia. You need help. Your telecom doctor is in. Cell Surgeon at Northgate Mall. Get $10 off a screen repair. Mention Hot News Talk Radio. Cell Surgeon yanks open the ribcage of your phone, pries out the dead heart, and puts in the beating life that you lead on your cell phone. Get $10 off a screen repair. Mention Hot News Talk Radio. Broken screen, phone not charging, water damage, battery given out. Cell Surgeon at Northgate Mall next to Old Chicago Pizza. Get $10 off a screen repair. Mention Hot News Talk Radio. Check us out on Facebook. Open Sunday. Cell Surgeon. We bring your phone back to life. Get $10 off a screen repair. Mention Hot
News Talk Radio. Yeah.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
More businesses are facing problems and penalties for not complying with IRS rules. Business owners must file Form 1099 on or before February 28. Need assistance? E.J. Pelton CPA will help. If you need 1099 help, call E.J. Pelton Company at 332-3339. He will file those 1099s for you and keep the government off your back. E.J. Pelton Company on Brainerd Road near the Belvoir Light and in Saudi Daisy on Dayton Pike north of Food City. Call 332-3339.
I wonder who's watching me now. The IRS.
You need a place for your party or maybe a wedding reception for 100 or even more. Maybe you'd like to host a small trade show for your business and you need a very affordable venue. Are you looking for a place for your birthday gala or services to start up a church? Look no further than the Hidden Gem in Hickson. It's an overlooked, newly appointed reception hall right here in Hickson, Tennessee. Big space, small price. That's right, big space, small price. Call Mr. Chu and ask for a tour. 316-7388. That's 423-316-7388. He'll tell you a lot more about the venue. Rent this venue today. Just call 423-316-7388 and ask for Mr. Chu.
Expect more sunshine and nice weather out there through the afternoon. Mild again, highs mid and upper 60s. Tonight, lows falling into the mid-40s with increasing clouds. Becoming breezy Tuesday. A line of showers and storms will roll in for the afternoon. Highs back into the 60s, drier and cooler for the midweek. For lunch or dinner, come to Guthrie's, home of the original golden fried delicious chicken finger with their special sauce. Open daily, locations in Trenton, Signal Mountain, and Ringgold. Go get Guthrie's. It's always good. And I'm Sourcine 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
When the weather turns bad, turn to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. On the net, hotnewstalkradio.com. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook from the Hot News Talk Radio Weather Center. Chattanooga, we've got you covered. When the weather turns bad, the Tennessee Valley turns to Hot News Talk Radio.
Go, 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 go.
Charge! Get back there, you dang Yankee! Great horny toads, I'm up north. Gotta burn my boots, they touched Yankee soil. Lay down your arms and step forward, Yankee!
What's the hassle, Schmassel?
My orders from General Lee is to hold the Macy-Dixie line, and no Yankees are crossing it.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
If the South would have won, we'd have had it made. I'd probably run for president of the Southern states.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
WSDT Sunny Daisy, Chattanooga.
3, 2, 1. Up next. Coming up in the herd, the difference between very good and great is so small and so tiny, it's hard to explain. But this weekend, we saw an example of that. That and more coming up. This is the herd.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
You guys can laugh at me all you want.
This is the herd.
The herd.
With Colin Cowherd.
I'm setting the tone.
Best show on radio.
This is the herd.